I felt led to talk about an exciting topic, just a light and airy topic. It's just simply called Trump and the Stargate Prophecies. The reason why, partly, is because that's our latest documentary. So if you guys are interested, again, if you're here locally, you can just get it in the back there, the DVDs of the book. If you're watching online, you can scan that QR code. That'll take you where you need to go. Again, we do not copyright our materials. And so the reason why I think it's important, because there's a misnomer going on. Did you guys know that Bible prophecy stopped just because Trump got into office? Hey, people are acting like it, right? And here's where the problems come in. The moment you say anything positive about Donald Trump, you got this one group of professing Christians that say, hey, man, you are now an anti-Christian, brainwashed idiot who's drunk the Kool-Aid. You voted for the Antichrist, right? But then you got the other end of the spectrum. If you say anything negative about the guy, then all of a sudden you're accused of being an anti-American, communist, leftist, liberal. Right? And then they get mad at you because I'm on a 4-year vacation. Don't you tell me there's something I need to know. Right? We're at this weird polarity, and so it's like a lightning rod topic, all things Donald Trump. And my thing is this, we're Christians, we're truth tellers. And so if we called out the truth in the previous administration, and if there's something going on in the current administration, why can't we talk about it? And so that's what we deal with here. And believe it or not, it started very quickly when Trump got into office. And my ears just immediately went, pew, big time. First day in office. First day in office, he launched this thing called the AI Stargate program. Now, if you were here locally at our church Sunday before last, I preached on the first aspect of what that is going to do. It is going to bring in, folks, it is going to bring in the Big Brother Antichrist system, Revelation 13. But today, I want to hit a different angle because there's 4 different Bible prophecies that one decision from Trump did that has everything to do with preparing the Antichrist kingdom. Whether he gets it or not, I don't know. I'm not saying he wakes up every day, he's doing it for the end. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying we got to talk about it. Okay? But the second thing that it's going to help bring in is the Big Brother, Big Pharma. Right? Aren't you glad that we're never going to deal with the pandemic behavior ever, Kim? Can I tell you something? It's about ready to go on steroids. Believe it or not, folks, the drugs in the medical community are a huge part of the 7-year tribulation, if you read the Bible, which for some strange reason I highly recommend. But I'm convinced that the Antichrist is going to use both Big Pharma and the medical community to do some horrible, nefarious things. And we're seeing that system being laid, and specifically by AI. It's going to take it over for the first time in man's history anywhere on the planet. And he's going to use that for mega leverage to force, make, order, cause people to do whatever he says to do. Because your life is on the line. It's not just convenience and buying and selling. It's a lot more. But hey, don't take my word for it. Let's listen to God. So open your Bibles to Revelation chapter 6. Revelation chapter 6. What a concept that we would actually study Revelation at a Bible prophecy conference. But Revelation chapter 6, verses 1 through 14. I got a theory. Now, this is the first half of the 7-year tribulation, the seal judgments. As you turn there, and I'm stalling time as you get there, because you can't have dead air. So as you turn there, this is the seal judgments. Now, of course, following that is the trumpets, then the bowls, then the Revelation 19, the second coming of Jesus Christ with us, the church, right? We're not here on earth. This is, we're up in heaven, okay? But this is the first half, the seal judgments. And you tell me if somebody's going to need some medical care, right? That's the whole point. Let's take a look. Let's go ahead and stand as we read God's holy word. And let's see what's going to happen right out of the gates with the 7-year tribulation, right? I watch as the Lamb. Who's the Lamb? Jesus. Where's this coming from? This is not the wrath of man. This is not the wrath of Satan. That's a lie from the pit of hell. From the very get-go, this is the wrath of the Lamb. This is coming from the throne room of God. The 7-year tribulation is a full 7 years of God's wrath. That's why we're not going to be there, church. We are saved from, not appointed unto. We are rescued from God's wrath through Jesus Christ. But I watched as the Lamb opened the first of the 7 seals, and then I heard one of the 4 living creatures say in a voice like thunder, "Come." And I looked, and there before me was a white horse. Its rider held a bow, and he was given a crown, and he rode out as a conqueror to conquer, bent on conquest. That's the rise of the Antichrist, the very beginning. But then he shows his true colors. That false peace doesn't last very long. When the Lamb opened the second seal, I heard the second living creature say, "Come." And then another horse came out, a fiery red one, and its rider was given power to take peace from the earth and to make men slay each other. To him was given a large sword. Well, when the Lamb opened the third seal, then I heard the third living creature say, "Come." And there, and I looked, before me was a black horse. Its rider was holding a pair of scales in his hands. And then I heard what sounded like a voice among the four living creatures saying, 1 quart of wheat for a day's wages, 3 quarts of barley for a day's wages, and do not damage the oil and the wine. Notice it didn't say 1 quart of beef. Here's a pint of bacon. It's vegetarian food. That's not being pushed, is it? That's a whole other message. Let's move on. When the Lamb opened the fourth seal, I heard the voice of the fourth living creature say, come. And I looked, there before me was a pale horse. And its rider was named Death, and Hades was following close behind him. And they were given power over a fourth of the earth to kill by what? Sword, famine, and plague, and by the wild beasts of the earth. Go ahead and do that. That's fun. Yeah, apparently that's what wild beasts do when they get ready to eat them. Right, but anyway, let's move on. And when he opened the fifth seal, and I saw on the altar the souls, those who had been slain because of the word of God, the testimony they had maintained, they called in a loud voice, how long, sovereign Lord, holy and true, until you judge the inhabitants of the earth and avenge our blood? Then to each was given a white robe, and they were told to wait a little longer until the number of their fellow servants and brothers who were to be killed as they had been was completed. And then I watched as he opened the sixth seal, and there was a great earthquake. The sun turned black like sackcloth made of goat hair. The whole moon turned blood red. The stars in the sky fell to the earth as late figs from a fig tree was shaken by a strong wind. The sky receded like a scroll, and listen, it rolled up, and every mountain and island was removed from its place. Now that is a big earthquake. You may be seated if you can, right? And that's not even the biggest one. What do you see? The one at the end. But here's my point. How many guys would say, after all, this is the first half of the 7-year tribulation. You're just getting started. How many guys would say that, man, anybody, now listen, 1/4 of the earth is 2 billion people. That's a lot of people are going to die, okay? But there's going to be survivors. And how many guys would say whoever survives after this, and you're just getting started, they're going to need some medical care, right? Including those people who say, I'm going to buy a piece of property and build up my bug-out shelter and store. You guess what? Your tourniquet ain't going to fix your broken leg, right? You're going to need some health care. It's just going to have to happen. So here's my point. Whoever controls the medical system at this point, you're going to have some serious leverage. Now, here's my point. You tell me the Antichrist won't use this during that time frame. Revelation 13 gives you 4 verses. He's going to make, he's going to order, he's going to force, he's going to cause all people. You don't do what he says, you're going to die. He's going to have leverage. It's not just out of convenience. Oh, I got to keep buying and selling. Yeah, okay, yeah, that's part of it. But he's going to have serious leverage. And I'm convinced he is going to use the medical community on a global basis to force people to do what he wants them to do. Because here's the point. Your life's on the line, man. This is no joke. And you can envision it. Hey, you want those injuries treated from a global war? No problem. Take the chip. What's that? You got broken bones from that giant earthquake? Yeah, just bow a knee. You want your body healed from all that pestilence that's ravaging the whole planet? Yeah, no problem. Worship the beast. And listen, an AI will grant you permission to the system. No. Yeah. This is the importance of AI. With the Big Brother Society we dealt with a couple weeks ago from the pulpit here, right? We've had computer technology, we've had satellite technology, we've had microchip technology. There was one thing lacking because it's a global system. You can't hire enough people to manage that system. So we don't have a global infrastructure. You need something superhuman to tie it all together, to monitor. Well, that's AI. Folks, the same thing is happening to the medical community. It's expanding global, but for the first time, they finally got the ability to tie it all together, to use it as a weapon. And I'm telling you, folks, this is what Trump's AI Stargate program is going to help create. Now, if you guys have no clue what that is, here it is, his first day in office. Watch what he says.
Well, thank you very much, and it's an honor to be here today. We have first full day as president. We're back, and we had a great first term, but we're going to have an even better second term, and I think we're going to do things that people would be shocked at. We're starting off with tremendous investment coming into our country at levels that nobody's really ever seen before, and they're very happy with the fact that I won the race and that they feel confident in their investments, and it's big money and high quality people. So my first day back from having a nice life, but to announce the largest AI infrastructure project by far in history, and it's all taking place right here in America.
Advocates of the Stargate project believe it has the potential to revolutionize industries and solve some of the world's biggest challenges. Take healthcare, for example. Oracle's Larry Ellison has highlighted how Stargate could lead to breakthroughs in personalized medicine, including mRNA vaccines and personalized cancer treatments, predicting pandemics before they spread. These aren't just dreams, they're practical goals tied to this initiative.
What's coming with this? Not just the whole Big Brother thing. We already dealt with that a couple weeks ago. But it's going to what? It's going to provide personalized medicine, mRNA vaccines. I thought we were done with that. Cancer predicting pandemics before they happen, because they did a great job last time. And we could trust when they say another one's coming. I thought we were done with all that stuff. It's about to go on steroids, folks. I'm not saying Trump is doing this on purpose. I don't know. I don't know the man. I'm just saying we need to talk about this. Okay? But this is going to radically change the medical community. Because the AI is what is now controlling the medical community, and it's moving across the globe. Now, by the way, the Trump Stargate program, most people, if they've heard of it, they think it's just for America. No, it's not. Read the fine print. There's 8 data centers being built in just Abilene, Texas. I was just there at a conference. I met 2 of the people working on them. This is no joke. But there's other states around the United States. But listen, it's going global. And I quote, the UK, Norway, Japan, United Arab Emirates, which is already starting. So there's a global ramification with this program. It's not just for America. And I'm here to tell you, they admit, it's going to radically change not only the Big Brother Society, it's going to radically change the medical community, and I'm convinced it's going to be used by the Antichrist. And I want to demonstrate that to you 3 different ways. And the first way is AI is already controlling the administration. AI is making the decisions, folks. Not coming, it's already being put into play. And the reason why that's important is because we all know that if you need medical care, you just walk up and they take care of you. No, you have to go through what I call the gatekeeper, the administration, right? They're the ones who grant you access whether or not you can even see the doctor or not, whether you have this or that or whatever. And I'm telling you, AI is now controlling that. Now, this goes back. It's been a long-term plan, just like the Big Brother Society, little by little, installing more and more systems, and then eventually you need something to tie it all together. That's where AI comes in. It's the same thing with the medical community. Believe it or not, this started back, shocker, with the Obama administration. I know, it's a surprise, right? Yeah, remember that? Remember Obamacare? Obamacare was the big swath across the bow, because in that bill, right, the Affordable Health Care Act, in that bill, they mandated all of our medical records are to be electronic. And because of that, now they can monitor anything about us at any time, anywhere. And folks, it's not coming, it's already being done. And their goal is it's going to be a seamless system controlled by AI, and wherever you're at in the world, it's going to be so convenient. And you'll get medical care wherever you are. Watch this.
Whether it's a hospital emergency or a routine doctor's visit, all people, regardless of age, will require medical care at some point in their lives. The ability to have safe medical care is a crucial issue today for patients and healthcare providers alike. Many hospitals are doing things such as implementing bar-coded medication delivery systems and computerized physician order entry programs, among other safety measures. A key component of this effort is the use of computers to better manage healthcare information and records.
An electronic health record is a record that your provider can use when you come to see them that basically keeps track of all your information. Where it is, what brought it on.
In your community, when you visit any point of care, information is collected regarding your health. However, because these systems don't connect, information cannot be easily shared between healthcare providers. So when a doctor is treating you, there may be pieces of your health information out there that they don't know about. Now consider how important communication is in an urgent situation. Say, for example, you find yourself in an ER and you're unable to properly relay your medical history. Not knowing for certain if you're on any medications or if you have any allergies could hinder the doctor's assessment and even cause problems during treatment. In order to improve healthcare, we're working to create and connect a network of electronic health record systems in your community and across the country. which in the future will allow your health record history to be accessed by every authorized healthcare provider you see. So one day, no matter where you are, you'll know your healthcare provider has access to your health information.
Wow. Won't that be great? Especially when those asteroids start slamming the earth and you might be out of the country and you need medical care. This is already done. This was done back in the Obama days. But do you see the setup? In order to pull this global system off, you got to digitize everything. Now, it wasn't just your records. If you paid attention there towards the beginning, they began to digitize with electronic barcodes and microchips all medical equipment, all medication, and of course the patients themselves. And we've already been warmed up to that. You go there, what do? They put a what? But it's a what? It's a barcode. Wait a second, what if you lost that thing? How would they know who you are? How would they know your allergies? Because that's what it's all about, surely, right? Well, first of all, stop calling me Shirley. We know where it's headed, folks. It's part of warming us up to the marking system, right? That I believe, again, yes, buying and selling, but I believe it's a loaded term. There's going to be a lot of things that you won't be able to do without this marking system, and dare I say, maybe even your medical, right? Revelation 13, he also forced everyone, small and great, rich and poor, free and slave, to receive a mark on his where? Right hand or on his forehead. Why? So that no one can buy or sell. Would that include medical? Unless he had the mark, which is the name of the beast or the number of his name, right? Now, if you think that's just a wacky theory, that too has already been done for many years. Now, they're not only digitizing your electronic records, all medical equipment, even the pills. If you want to freak yourself out, look up smart pills. They put microchips in them and things of that nature, and you're swallowing them. They can monitor your insides, all that kind of stuff. But they're digitizing people as well. They need to connect you personally to this system. Now, the external one was the first step, but they've been pushing for years, folks, the medical microchip implant, especially with people with Alzheimer's, kids getting lost, right? Or what if you get in a car accident, you're unconscious, and you got an allergy to chicken, and they give you chicken juice, and you're going to die, right? Because that's serious. Again, this has been going on for a long time, specifically the medical community. Watch this.
To think something so small can connect you to everything that matters.
When your life and all you love
are on the line.
HealthLink is always with you when every second counts in the emergency room, providing immediate access to your medical records.
Because Bob has trouble remembering all his medications.
Because I'm in love with my kids' kids.
Because my car lost control while driving.
Because now I'm looking out for both of us.
Because I have diabetes, but it doesn't have me.
Because I spend my life in the ER trying to save yours.
Well, my first instinct is it sounds like science fiction.
The microchip is safe in humans.
I'm very concerned about this.
I don't know if I'm ready for this yet.
But Daniel Hickey already has one.
Hi, how's everything?
They've been putting in cats and dogs for years. It's about time they put it into human beings.
Hickey, a retired Navy commander, has this radio frequency ID chip in his arm. A quick scan, and in Hickey's case, it brings up an ID number. That links to a computer program and his medical records. It's sort of a human barcode.
To me, I think it's the wave of the future in medicine.
Dr. Jonathan Musher, who works for the company that sells the chip, says it will save lives.
The FDA stands firmly behind this.
He admits there have been no long-term studies on people, but nonetheless, he's convinced it's safe.
There's been over 10 million pets in 15 years that have had this microchip without any problems.
And there are some who see no problem using the chip for more than a medical ID. Parents are putting these chips in kids in Mexico where there's a higher risk of kidnappings. The scanners are put up at airports and bus stations, so if a chipped child is there, police know.
Something happens, let's not even pick a horrible thing like abduction, but just, they get lost somewhere. And so if the police or EMS had something like this and you could quickly identify someone, I think it's terrific.
Did you see how quickly it jumped from the medical community to there's all kinds of things we could do with this chip. If you just get a chip, man, we could track you wherever you go. By the way, that same chip, you could also make your financial transactions with it too. It's so convenient. But they're using the medical community to tie you into the medical community, but it does so much more. Just setup, folks. It's been going on for a long time. And you might be out there thinking, well, I'm sorry, but I don't care how convenient. You see that guy? Yeah, whatever. You ain't chipping me, man. Keep your Doritos to yourself. That was supposed to be funny. Wrong chip. Okay, thank you, all three of you. But no, you might be saying, hey, I'm never going to eat one of these chips. You can do the promotions all you want. I ain't getting one. You ain't going to make me get no chip. Good thing we saw nobody roll over and say, you got to put something on your head or something in your arm. And nobody lined up and did that, did they? That was the biggest dry run for the Mark of the Beast, folks. But don't worry. Kill Gates is here for you. Because we all know he's a doctor, right? Apparently. Right? He's a doctor and he's going around the world fixing all the medical problems. Yeah, Kill Gates, get our previous documentary, Global Leads in the Antichrist. But he's just come out with this, folks. It just hit the news. Bill Gates is pushing, of all things, electronic tattoos to replace smartphones. What? Of all things? What's this guy up to? Do you guys trust this guy? Yeah, I don't either. Right? He's up to some horrible things. Now, these electronic tattoos, I'll show you what they look like, but guess where they're going? Rhymes with the hand. There's one right there. You can just put it on your hand. Isn't that so convenient? So don't worry. You don't have to get the implant. You could just slap one of these bad boys on you. Or even on your head. No, they wouldn't. For many years, people have been debating the Revelation 13. It says the mark of the beast will be in the right hand. They said, no, it's in, it's on, it's it. The technology can do either, folks. It can go in like a subdermal implant. Or, thanks to recently Kill Gates, now it can go on the right hand or the forehead, and you're tied into the system. Now, here's what's alarming. Bill Gates has met not once, but twice with Donald Trump. And if there's one person you don't want to meet with, it's him. And if there's one person you don't want to chum up with, it's him. And I have both interviews on tape. He just met with him again with a bunch of the tech guys, the Big Brother guys. There's Kill Gates. This just happened. And listen to what Bill Gates says that he and Trump are working on. Watch this.
Have you met Donald Trump since the election?
Yeah, I had a chance to go have a long and actually quite intriguing dinner with him.
What did you discuss? What was intriguing?
Well, we touched on a lot of things. It was over 3 hours. To my surprise, it was, just he and I, his chief of staff, Susie Wiles, and the person who helps manage things for me, Larry Cohen. So the four of us sat there, and it was quite wide-ranging. Global health's the area that I work in, and such amazing things have happened and can happen there. I spoke a lot about HIV and that the foundation's literally working on a cure for that. We're at an early stage, and so he, in the COVID days, accelerated the vaccine innovation. So I was asking him if maybe the same kind of thing could be done here, and we both got, I think, pretty excited about that. I felt like he was energized and looking forward to helping to drive innovation. I was frankly impressed with how well he showed a lot of interest in the issues I brought up.
Bill, would you like to say a few words?
Well, I'm in the second phase of my career, giving away all the wonderful money that Satya's good work has helped multiply a lot. But I think the thing that ties my first career that I still spend some time on because AI is so phenomenal, and my second career is innovation, innovating in health in areas like vaccines or gene editing, and the President and I are talking about taking American innovation to the next level to cure and even eradicate some of these diseases. In the same way that Warp Speed took those seeds and put them together, I think something fantastic can be done. AI for our foundation is that we want a doctor for everyone. We all get together and talk about how the U.S. can lead in this key area and apply it even to the poorest outside the U.S. as well as to our great citizens. So thank you for incredible leadership, including getting this group together.
Thank you, Bill. That's very nice.
No, it's not very nice. And can we talk about this? I'll still throw him a bone. I don't know if people have told Trump the whole story. But can we talk about this? Can we stop this dumb polemic position in the church today? If you say anything positive, me personally, I'm glad the interest rates came down. Can we talk about that? Is that illegal now? You voted for the Antichrist. I didn't say that. But then you start talking about something like this that has everything to do with Bible prophecy, and what are you doing working with Bill Gates, man? You're a leftist liberal. You're anti-American. No, I'm not. I'm a Christian. Can't we talk about this? We blew the whistle on the Biden administration, and rightly so. 2 Thessalonians 2, we're called to be the restraining influence. But it's illegal now to say something on this one? Come on, folks. We got to be consistent. But hey, RFK is here to save the day. I wish that was true and I didn't have to do this stupid dance, but unfortunately it's not. This is the other bombshell, folks. We've been duped. You think, oh, I'm never going to get that subdermal, and I certainly ain't going to get that Bill Gates tag. Oh, no, I'm not getting some electronic external device. What did he just say? RFK wearables push is raising alarm because he said on tape within 4 years he wants every American to wear this electronic medical device. Yeah.
In fact, we're about to launch one of the biggest advertising campaigns in HHS history to encourage Americans to use wearables. It's a way of people can take control over their own health. They can take responsibility. They can see, as you know, what food is doing to their glucose levels, their heart rates, and a number of other metrics as they eat it. And they can begin to make good judgments about their diet, about their physical activity, about the way that they live their lives. We think that wearables are a key to the MAHA agenda, making America healthy again, and we are going to, my vision is that every American is wearing a wearable within 4 years.
You guys smell that? Yes. It smells worse than chicken. It's called a setup. Can we be consistent? Here's the weird stage we're in, folks. I'm telling you, listen, even the remnant. If they did that in the Biden years, we'd be all over this like stink, blowing the whistle, but nobody's saying nothing. Why not? You desperately want your false 4-year vacation that bad? Prophecy did not stop, folks. And dare I say, because the church is keeping their mouth shut, it's in high gear all around us. Now, people have coined this. You're going like, man, we got duped. Well, you could say we got duped. Or you could also say it was a Judas goat. What's that? Well, I'll tell you what it is. Watch this.
There are 3 phases to wearables. Phase 1 is things you wear on your body that provide feedback loop, measure things. So you wear a Fitbit or something like that. And then the second phase is you take a pill that has a digital component that transmits information. Then the third is you literally integrate digital technology permanently into your body with nanoparticles. What I see is all 3 are happening, and there are certain applications. If you don't do what they say, bam, you're going to get a heart attack, and they can induce that electronically from a distance. So MAHA has turned out to be a Trojan horse. It's just, I don't know if you saw this. Kennedy just came out and he said his vision for everybody in America is they have a wearable, which means he's the Judas goat walking everybody into the control grid. So, I think any hope that he was playing an inside game. My hope was he was playing an inside game and sort of making compromises so he could get something done. But what he's trying to get, he and Elon Musk are having a competition for who can get the most people into the control grid the fastest. So do you know what a Judas goat is in livestock management?
Nope.
Okay. A Judas goat, you'll train a goat to walk all the sheep into the slaughterhouse. So here's the slaughterhouse. The Judas goat kind of walks in, and right at the end, he turns, and then the sheep go into the slaughterhouse. So his job is to steer people, and so I was hoping Kennedy was playing an inside game, but he's, based on what he said the other day, he's the Judas goat. And he and Musk are having a competition, I think, for making the control grid fashionable.
Yeah.
Wow. I get it, it's a bummer, but can we talk about this? Or is that illegal now? Did we really think prophecy was going to come to a screeching halt when Trump got in? No. But here's my point. Talk about leverage. Everybody's tied into this universal electronic medical care system. It's all digitized now, controlled and monitored by AI. You can see what he does in the 7-year tribulation. Hey, you want that medical treatment? No problem. Take this chip. You need that wound addressed? Yeah, worship the beast. What's that? You need access to health care? No problem. Just bow a knee and AI will grant you permission. And if you don't do what we say, we'll push a button, you'll have a heart attack and die. Whoa. But they're already moving to the next step. And the next step is AI is not only controlling the administration, tying it all together, they're controlling the doctors. And I don't have a whole lot of time to get into this, get our documentary, we go down deep on this one and prove it to you. But they're removing the human element altogether in the medical system on top of what you just saw. And you're like, well, why would they do that? Because humans might hesitate. Humans might show compassion. Humans might have a tough time following an order saying, deny that person treatment, let them die. So they thought of that. And so they're developing a system where AI is not controlling it. AI will become your new doctor, right? Because AI is inhuman. AI will do what it's programmed to do, including nefarious things. Now, the first shot across the bow was during the pandemic. I don't have time to go into this. The AI chatbots. Remember that? The germs, stay home. We'll meet you on your tablet with this. Hi, I am Molly, the AI chatbot. Remember that? That was a warm-up. That was not a human, right? But they're already moving to the next stage, and they have AI robot nurses and AI robot doctors.
You could see a robot or two during your next visit to the hospital or the doctor's office.
One company has deployed what it is thought to be the world's first fully robotic medical assistant. Fox's Evan Brown has the details.
We've heard a lot about the robot revolution lately, and now our automated friends are seeing more action than ever thanks to AI programming. That's prompted a push for robots in the medical field, but so far they've been used for things like transcription and disinfecting. Now one company, Enchanted Tools, has gone a step further, deploying a robotic medical assistant called merk. The developers say it arose out of a lack of trained medical personnel.
What we see is that we need more nurses, we need more caregiver.
How are you doing? Want to try a breathing exercise together?
Sounds good.
This is Maybu, a companion robot that looks after patients at home.
She's here to remind us mainly about our medications.
It's a face you may want to remember because Maybu, or something like it, might look after you one day.
I don't know if you've heard, but just a couple of weeks ago, it was announced that AI will be replacing nurses in hospitals. So the next time you go to your doctor's appointment, instead of talking to a regular human nurse, you can end up being seen by an AI-generated nurse.
The era of human doctors is coming to an end. In the near future, it may be a machine and not a human being that treats you in the hospital. At least, this is the reality that AI, artificial intelligence, is making come true.
Hey, yeah, that's just like Star Wars, man. Because that was so cool, man. When you needed treatment, all the machines come in, this robot comes in, oh, we'll take care of you. That was just entertainment. No, it's, once again, Hollywood preparing us for what's coming. This is what it's called the fourth revolution in the health industry. Just like Schwab's fourth industrial revolution, the Great Reset, it's all being radically changed. AI robots, they're removing the human element because I believe they're going to be doing some really horrid things with it. But what else do you need with doctors? Sometimes you don't need them just checking your diagnosis. Here's your medication. You got this problem, right? You need what? need surgery. Now, if I had time, I'd show you they have robot surgeons. It's a machine that does now, just like Star Wars, no joke. But you put all this together, now you got the human element gone. And let's say you wanted to do something nefarious when people are vulnerable, when they maybe have been resisting you, but then you got, aha, we got leverage over you now. You want that ailment diagnosed? No problem. Take the chip. What's that? You need to do something about your cancer? Piece of cake. Worship the beast. What's that? You need surgery so you won't die? Yeah, bow knee. And the AI medical community, including surgeon, doctor, nurse, you name it, will help you. But only after you do what we say to do. You can see the leverage, and it's on a global basis. But wait a second, these things wouldn't murder people, would they? It's already happened, folks. Watch this.
In 2015, a robot killed a contract worker at a Volkswagen production plant in Germany. The 22-year-old male was part of a team that was setting up the robot when it grabbed him and crushed him to death against a metal plate. And we have electrocution. In 2015, it was reported that a man had been killed by a robot at a car parts factory in India. The 24-year-old worker was adjusting a metal sheet when the robot holding the sheet stabbed him in one of his arms. That's when the welding sticks punched forward right into the man's abdomen. In December 2018, a shocking story came out of China where a factory worker was skewered with 10 steel spikes after a robot malfunctioned and impaled him. Seriously, look away if you're squeamish. These pictures are horrible. We have the robot surgeon. In 2015, news broke of a robot surgeon that killed 144 patients and injured a further 1,391. Basically, if this robot was a person, it would be one of the worst killers of all time.
Robot surgeon, I wasn't making it up, has already killed a ton of people. You don't think they're going to use this in the 7-year tribulation? Not only flip it around, it's a perfect crime. Not only deny you treatment, but maybe, no, okay, yeah, we'll allow you. Yeah, we'll get you that surgery. And they kill you in the surgery on purpose. This is sick. This is what happens when you remove the human element. But speaking of death, it gets even worse. Now, they're building in this same system, and I'm going to show you, it's been going on since the Obama years, that AI will determine your death. No joke. And this is another element that we see that the Bible says is going to be in that community, the medical community, in the 7-year tribulation. Let me quote that to you. This is Revelation 9 now. The rest of mankind that were not killed by these plagues still did not repent of the work of their hands. They did not stop worshiping demons and idols of gold, silver, bronze, stone, and wood, idols that cannot see, hear, or walk, nor did they repent of their murders, their magic arts, their sexual immorality, or their thefts. This is the society in the 7-year tribulation. They're so stinking evil. Even though they could have turned to God and got right with God, they absolutely won't. They will not repent. And it specifically says, why are they so evil? Why do they, even though they know this is the judgment of God, they still refuse to turn to God? Why? Why are their hearts so hard? Because they wouldn't stop worshiping demons. They wouldn't stop murdering people. They wouldn't stop being involved in magic arts, literally witchcraft or sorcery, pharmakeia. That's the word there, where we get the English word pharmacy. And yes, it's drugs as a pharmacy, but it's drugs as in fostered by the occult, the dark arts. Because if you know anything about the occult, they use drugs to get people into an altered state of consciousness. They also use drugs, like witches use drugs, chemicals to make potions to kill people. That's what the word means. So you stir all this together, the people in the 7-year tribulation on a global basis is going to get so stinking evil, so wicked, man. They refuse to repent and get right with God. Why? Because they will be demonic thieves, murdering people, using drugs to get the job done. What does that sound like? 4 years during the pandemic. They showed themselves. We call it big pharma. That's what Revelation 9 calls it. And talk about thievery. Oh, they didn't just make millions. They made billions. Have we already forgotten what went on during that time frame? Watch this.
So the current situation is this. If you have COVID and you end up in the hospital, you're put on a rigid protocol, and there's high mortality rate in the hospital, and your family is kept in the dark as to what's happening. So what's going on here? Number one, the CARES Act is providing bonus payments to hospitals whenever you have a diagnosis of COVID. And then number 2, the Center for Medicare and Medicaid Services is waiving patient rights. This is a deadly combination. So here's what happens. You get a payment because you offer a free COVID test in the emergency room. You get a boost payment if you have a diagnosis of COVID. Number 3, you get another bonus payment if you are admitted with COVID. Number 4, you get another bonus payment if you're put on remdesivir. Number 5, another bonus payment if you're put on a mechanical ventilator. Number 6, another 20% bonus if the diagnosis on your death certificate says COVID, even though you may not have died from COVID. And then number 7, there's bonus payments to coroners. Do you understand the gravity of what's happening right now? The Biden administration is literally paying hospitals to kill you. That's what's happening.
Did we forget this already? That's why God moved on our hearts as a church and we started the Salt and Light medical practice. You fooled us one time, you ain't getting us the second time. And that's why we say, and we mean it, we're not here to jab you, stab you, and kill you. Because it wasn't just the hospitals making money murdering people. I call that murder for hire. We used to call that the mafia, and they used to have to go to jail. But not just the hospitals. You saw that whole racket there. And what does Revelation 9 says? They would be thieves. They would rip people off. That's what this is all about, making billions. But they made billions also off the jabs. They forced people to take it. Like a drug pusher, which also should be going to jail. So that's what the text says, that these people in the last days on a global basis, they're going to be thieves. They're going to rip people off. They don't care about them. But specifically the murder, because it wasn't just people got hurt, they got harmed, they got killed. And specifically by the mRNA shots that are not vaccines, they're gene editors. Have we forgotten this, folks? Let's remind ourselves what went on.
Brought to you by Pfizer. CBS Health Watch sponsored by Pfizer. Anderson Cooper 360. Brought to you by Pfizer.
ABC News Nightline. Brought to you by Pfizer. Making a difference. Brought to you by Pfizer.
CNN Tonight. Brought to you by Pfizer. Early Start. Brought to you by Pfizer. Friday night on Aaron Burnett Out Front. Brought to you by Pfizer.
This Week with George Stephanopoulos is brought to you by Pfizer.
This weather report brought to you by Pfizer.
Today's countdown to the royal wedding is brought to you by Pfizer.
And now a CBS Sports Update brought to you by Pfizer.
Meet the Press Data Download. Brought to you by Pfizer.
This portion of CBS This Morning sponsored by Pfizer.
On how to find the hidden sugars in the American family diet. Sponsored by Pfizer.
I've said it now for years, and I've said to Peter McCullough, I've said to Bobby Kennedy, I've said to all these guys, don't fall for the name. It's not a vaccine. It's a bioweapon gene therapy. And lo and behold, in this article, guess what they talk about? They talk about the fact that it's now being transmitted through mother's milk. It's writing itself into the human genome, and we are modifying the genome. We, Alex, are watching as 4 billion souls on this planet are becoming genetically modified organisms. And you don't want to ever think that somehow or another this was justified because we mislabeled it a vaccine. This was a biological weapons program. It was administered to the general population, and now we have 3.5 or 4 billion genetically modified organisms who are actually facing an existential threat, and that was done with intent.
Which is a fancy way of saying they were murdered. Quote, they will be demonic thieves murdering people using drugs to get the job done in the 7-year tribulation. Have we forgotten this? Here's the point. This is the other extremely alarming thing that I have personally with the AI Stargate program. Because the 3 guys running it admit they're not just going to radically revolutionize with AI the medical system on a global basis. They're going to be able to crank out these mRNA shots, watch this, in 48 hours. Watch this.
One of the most exciting things we're working on, again, using the tools that Sam and Masa are providing, is a cancer vaccine. It's very interesting. Using AI to look at the blood test, you can find the cancers that are actually seriously threatening the person. So we can, again, cancer diagnosis using AI has the promise of just being a simple blood test. Then beyond that, once we gene sequence that cancer tumor, you can then vaccinate the person, design a vaccine for every individual person to vaccinate them against that cancer. And you can make that vaccine, that mRNA vaccine, you can make that robotically, again, using AI in about 48 hours. So imagine early cancer detection, the development of a cancer vaccine for your particular cancer aimed at you, and have that vaccine available in 48 hours. This is the promise of AI and the promise of the future.
On tape. So if we thought we were done with the mRNA gene editing kill shots, he admitted with this AI Stargate program, can we talk about this? Can we talk about this? Is it illegal anymore? We're Christians. Prophecy did not stop just because Trump got into office. But you ain't helping people, folks, when you keep your mouth shut because people's lives are on the line. This is no joke. The last one was Operation Warp Speed, and they skipped the 12 to 15-year process to come out with those. Remember that? But it still took a while. What, around a year? Then they came out with the jab, and then look what happened. They made billions, thieves, and they murdered multiple millions. Revelation 9. And now with this AI Stargate program, you're excited because you're going to be able to crank them out in 48 hours. You going to take one of those? I hope not. But that's what they said is coming. You ready for the dance? But RFK's here to save the day because he just announced he put a stop to this mRNA. No, he didn't. Judas Goat. And I quote, read the fine print. He wants more vaccines, not less. Did HH Secretary Kennedy really ban mRNA vaccines? And I quote, this just happened, folks. Secretary Kennedy announced this week that the Trump administration is withdrawing contracts with BARDA, B-A-R-D-A, that total $500 million for developing mRNA vaccines. Both the corporate media and the alternative media reacted very strongly to this announcement, claiming that the government has now stopped funding for all mRNA vaccines. Both sides are wrong. Christians, I saw it as soon as they hit the internet. Yeah, I knew he was on our side. He put a stop. No more of these genetic editors. I told you that's why he's... Listen to what he actually said. The money is just being redirected to develop other vaccines. BARDA's gone, yes, but it's going to a different direction, right? As we look at what Kennedy's done so far since being appointed in the position, we clearly see that Mr. Kennedy wants more vaccines, not less. Listen, check it out yourself, folks. He's actually approved new mRNA vaccines since he's been in office, including the COVID-19 mRNA vaccines. In July this year, he approved the mRNA COVID-19 vaccine by Moderna called SpikeVax, listen, to be injected into babies 6 months old through children 11 years old. Give me a break. In fact, and I quote, there are now more COVID-19 shots approved by the FDA under Kennedy than there was at any point under the Biden administration. Turn to somebody and say, Judas Goat. And we can't talk about this? Do you love your false 4-year vacation so much that we can't talk about this? Wow. Gosh, I wish I could end there, but it gets worse. Let's go back to the Obama years. They got one more thing cooked into the system that is evil. Another thing that the Obama administration cooked into it, this AI-controlled system, and now they're going to rake in billions of dollars because they can crank out these mRNA vaccines in 48 hours, and unfortunately it's going to kill a whole lot more people. But they may not wait until you take one of their jabs to kill you. Because what's cooked into the system is what's called death panels. Have we forgotten, Christian, what was in that bill? Now, in the day, there were a few whistleblowers who blew the whistle on it. But one of the guys who admitted they're in there rhymes with Kill Gates. You know why? Because it was Kill Gates. Watch this.
The access that used to be available to the middle class or whatever is just rapidly going away. That's a trade-off society is making because of very, very high medical costs and a lack of willingness to say, is spending $1 million on that last 3 months of life for that patient, would it be better not to lay off those 10 teachers and to make that trade-off in medical costs? But that's called the death panel, and you're not supposed to have that discussion.
Here's the problems I have with the Affordable Health Care Act. Number one, there is a provision in there that anyone over the age of 74 has to go before what is effectively a death panel. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. It's in there, folks. You're wrong.
Of course there are death panels in there, but the important thing to remember is that's just one aspect of this atrocious, unaffordable, cumbersome, burdensome, evil policy of Obama's, and that is Obamacare.
And what do you think their motive is for coming onto your side, saying, hey, maybe we should slow down with this law?
Well, it's in black and white in the law that there will be rationing of health care. They couldn't go forever in not acknowledging that, or they would look like complete buffoons, and they would be deemed incompetent, having not read the law to understand that death panels are a part of this atrocity.
Dr. Ezekiel Emanuel was one of the architects of the Affordable Care Act, or Obamacare. He presumes to be interested in preserving life, which is why it seemed outrageous when Sarah Palin accused him of wanting to create death panels. That was him. He was the death panel guy. But it turns out, Palin might have been more right about Ezekiel's intentions than the country gave her credit for. Because Dr. Emanuel just penned an article in The Atlantic entitled, Why I Hope to Die at 75, with the subtitle, An Argument That Society and Families and You Will Be Better Off If Nature Takes Its Course Swiftly and Promptly. In it, Emanuel clearly outlines why he thinks everyone should have the decency to die before turning 76. He accuses Americans of being obsessed with trying to cheat death. He chastises people for exercising, for doing mental puzzles, for sticking to healthful diets, for taking supplements, as if those actions are actually evil. He says all of those death-cheating behaviors are part of a manic cultural type that he calls the American immortal, which he vehemently rejects as misguided and destructive. Destructive as in, if you spend medical and financial resources trying to extend the life of a 76-year-old, you're being destructive to society. Sounds pretty death panelish there.
Because it's in there. Along with the microchipping, along with the electronic records, AI controlling it all. So who's going to make the decision on these death panels, whether somebody gets that treatment or not? It's AI. We're already being conditioned for that. And I quote, Google's medical brain thinks it can predict when you die. Well, I hope you get it right. Google's uses what? When you will die, Google uses AI to predict when you. It's 95% accurate. Well, that's close enough. And talk about having no clue what you're doing. AI can predict if you'll die soon, but we got no idea how it works. That's reassuring. Let me give you another one. AI is good, perhaps too good, at predicting who will die what? Prematurely. AI will control those death panels and the whole medical system just in time to do some really horrible, nefarious things in the 7-year tribulation. Where one man, a mass murderess of a man, the Antichrist, will be able to literally dictate people's deaths anywhere in the world using even the medical community. If you don't do what he says to do. This is why people are saying, folks, we didn't just get duped. We need to be prepared for what's coming if we're still alive and still here. Operation Warp Speed 2.0. Watch this.
I recommend that children follow the CDC schedule. And I will support the CDC schedule when I get in there.
Here we go with vaccines again. You know, this is Operation Warp Speed 2.0. So remember, Trump funded Operation Warp Speed 1.0. He authorized it. He put $18 billion behind it. Now we're talking about $500 billion. It was presented as private investment. I'm calling hooey on that. It's not private investment because a lot of the people involved are government contractors. So this is a Manhattan kind of project to win at AI. Now, if the cover story is vaccines and they're really serious, what you need to know is that mRNA vaccines, first of all, it's not a vaccine. I'm assuming they're calling it a vaccine because they want indemnification. mRNA technology is poison. It's toxic. What a killing technology this is. So we're talking about technology that, you know, we know of as of today based on Denny Rancourt's work, Mark Skidmore's work. This has killed and disabled millions of people. And so the notion that we're going, and you need indemnification. If you're a pharmaceutical company and you're injecting mRNA technology into people, you know, you need indemnification because financially you can't afford to kill that many people without being indemnified, right? So this is very dangerous stuff. And there are two things that are dangerous to the average person. One is they're going to take all your data, including private healthcare data, consolidate it into an operation where it can be consolidated with all other data in a way that builds a digital control grid. This is the infrastructure for the digital concentration camp. But second, if they really do give people mRNA technologies or inject us with mRNA, a lot of people are going to die.
Again. Why? Because in the 70-year tribulation, the society is going to be so evil, they're going to be demonic thieves murdering people using drugs to get the job done. Revelation 9. Wow. Pastor Billy, what a downer. Was it a downer for the handful of Germans that spoke up when outside their community they could see smokestacks? And while everybody else was too scared, too chicken to talk about it, they warned people what was really going on over there? Was that bad? If you ever wanted to know, Christian, how you would have reacted in Hitler's Germany in World War II, now you know. But here's the point. I'm convinced this is part of the wicked society that the Antichrist is going to use, including the medical system, to do some really evil things. And that's why Jesus said it's the worst time in the history of mankind. But why did God tell us this in advance? Why did he give us Revelation 6? Why did he give us Revelation 9 when we're not going to be there? Because it's an indicator, folks, that our departure is getting near. That's the 7-year tribulation. We leave prior, so we need to freak out and run to the hills. There is no place to hide. We need to hold the line, and we need to obey 2 Thessalonians 2 that said we're the restraining influence. We're the whistleblowers. As we long for his appearing. Because one day he's taking us out of here. Maybe it'll get worse before we do. That's a possibility. That's always been a possibility. But we're not going to be in that time frame called the 7-year tribulation, praise God. Our job is to tell as many people as we can to flee to Jesus Christ before it's too late. He's the only safe vaccine that people need. It's the cross of Jesus Christ. But if you're here today and you're not saved, you need to get saved today. This is no joke. God's trying to get your attention and love. As it was in the days of Noah, so it will be at the coming of the Son of Man. The days of Noah, it said the people were so evil, that's all they thought about all the time. And it grieved the heart of God. We're here again. This is grievous. This is horrid. To think that people would actually do this. But we were told it would happen. If you're not saved, you need to get saved today.
Here Jesus, ek weet ek is 'n sondaar. Ek besef dat ek nie sal hemel toe gaan as ek nie 'n verhouding met U het nie. Ek glo dat U aarde toe gekom het en vir my gesterf het aan die kruis en weer opgestaan het uit die dood. Was my sonde weg deur U bloed en maak van my 'n nuwe mens. Ek wil nie meer sondig nie. Help my om vir U te lewe. Ek gee vandag my hart vir U en kroon U as koning van my lewe. Dankie dat ek nou deel is van die hemelse familie. Amen.